Good morning. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living morning meditation. My name's Barbara Kane, and I'm a licensed practitioner. And I love it so much that you all are here to enjoy this meditation on this beautiful, albeit cloudy and a little rainy day. If you have a chance to look outside and see all the glorious flowers blooming and everything, it kind of makes the rain worth it. So what I'm going to do first off is to read from 365 Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, and then we'll do a silent meditation for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'll read a blessing to end our meditation. Today, I'm reading I consciously let go of every discord. I drop all sense of lack or limitation from my thought and every belief that I ever had in negation or fear. I now have a belief in success and faith. I permit the spirit within me to express itself in perfect freedom, bringing increasing joy into my experience. There is that within me that is completely conscious of its unity with good, of its oneness with all the power there is, and all the presence there is, and all the life there is. Upon this power, presence, and life, I depend with implicit certainty, with complete confidence, and with absolute assurance. And so now I invite you to take a deep breath, relax your body, feel the chair or the floor or whatever you're on supporting you. Close your eyes, and we'll do a silent meditation for a while. invite you now to start bringing your attention back into your bodies and into the room. Take a breath, wiggle your fingers and your toes, and when you're comfortable, please open your eyes. And now I'll read a blessing. I allow the divine wholeness to flow through me into ever widening fields of activity. Every good I have experienced is now increased tenfold. Every joy I have experienced is now multiplied. There is a new influx of inspiration into my thought. I see more clearly than ever before my divine birthright is freedom, peace, joy, and eternal goodness. I perceive that this same birthright is bequeathed to all people. All power is delivered unto me, and this power I use for my own and every other person's good. This divine presence interprets itself to me in love, friendship, peace, joy, and goodness, and perfect health. All are mine now and forever. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining me for this morning's meditation. And I'll see you at 10:15 for the start of our regular service. Have a beautiful day.
That was a catchy tune. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living and our Sunday celebration service. Thank you all so very much for your flexibility and your willingness to join us online this week. We have a wonderful relationship with 4 Points by Sheridan, and periodically we need to not be in our room, and today is one of those rooms. So I thank you so very much for your willingness to join us here. We have a great day planned for you. The amazingly talented Jessie Powers is with us as our inspirational musician, and I'm sure you are all going to love her. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeye, and I have the honor and the privilege of being this community's spiritual director. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We are a spiritual community that can support you as you strive to experience a personal relationship with God. A spiritual community where you are respected and accepted just for who you are. A space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support to grow into your highest and best self. You are welcome here no matter where you are on your spiritual path. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global community of over 450 spiritual centers, teaching chapters, and focus ministries across 35 countries all over the world. Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive philosophy, faith, and way of life that is dedicated to transforming lives by providing powerful spiritual principles and practices for our individual lives, and also for exploring new possibilities to assist the world to become a world that works for all. So once again, thank you so very much for joining us. As you saw on the little opening video clip, it is Earth Day, so happy Earth Day to everyone. And also, I want to mention that Passover is happening on Tuesday. Passover is a Jewish festival celebrating the exodus from Egypt and the Israelites' freedom from slavery to the Egyptians. It's one of the most widely celebrated Jewish holidays. Passover is one of 3 pilgrimage festivals in Scripture during which the Jewish people were commanded to travel to Jerusalem and to observe the feast together. Now, the book of Exodus tells about the origin of Passover. God promises to redeem his people from the bondage of Pharaoh. God sent Moses to the Egyptian king with the command that Pharaoh let my people go. When he refused, God brought 10 plagues down on the land of Egypt. The 10th and worst of the plagues was the death of the firstborn of everyone in Egypt. The night of the first Passover was the night of the 10th plague. On that faithful night, God told the Israelites to sacrifice a spotless lamb and mark their doors, posts, and lintels with its blood. Then, when the Lord passed through the nation, he would pass over the households that showed the blood. In this way, the Israelites were saved from the plague, and their first grown child was able to stay alive. Along with the instruction to apply the Passover lamb's blood, God instituted a commemorative meal: fire, roasted lamb, bitter herbs, and unleavened bread. The Lord told the Israelites to observe this meal forever, even when they were in a foreign land. To this day, Jewish people all over the world celebrate Passover in observance to this command. The 7th or 8th day festival begins with families gathering together on the first night, and sometimes the second night for many communities outside of Israel, for dinner. The dinner is called a Seder, which means order or arrangement in Hebrew. The Seder is the traditional Passover meal that includes the telling of the story, the discussing of the story, drinking of 4 cups of wine, eating matzah, partaking of symbolic foods, and reclining in celebration of freedom. The Seder is among the most commonly celebrated of all Jewish rituals and is performed all over the world. So to all of our Jewish friends and family, we celebrate the spirit of Passover with you. And now I would love to invite the amazing Jesse Powers to lead us in our opening congregational song, Come Together by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Woohoo! Thank you, Dusty. Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. If you know this song, great. If you don't, all you have to do is repeat after everything that I say. Starting now. Not now, but now. Okay. Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary or in your own home. Raise your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Now take a look at the person next to you, or your dog or your cat. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Raise your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, in every walk of life, every creed and color, can we reunite in honor of the God in each other? Take a look at the person next to you. This time we're going Eastern. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Raise your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. Get groovy with it. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. No one's watching you. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. In the name of, in the name of love. In the name of love. In the name of love.
Indeed we do. We come together in the name of love. And in this moment, we're coming together in the name of our community announcements. And the first one is our Wednesday evening services throughout 2024 are called Beyond Sunday. And they are held at 7 o'clock on Zoom. And the link is available on the Wednesday newsletter and also on our website. Throughout the month of April, we are diving deeply into a psalm for the wild built by Becky Chambers. Our conversations throughout the month will be facilitated by Reverend Betty Harris. Spirit Speak Boutique, owned and operated by our beloved member Eileen Proctor, is partnering with TCSL to make available a line of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies in a variety of colors. The garments have our logo on the front and a powerful affirmation on the back that you get to choose. A portion of all sales is being donated back to TCSL. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Eileen at spiritspeakboutique@gmail.com or 919-526-0206. The sweatshirts are nice and warm and cozy, and I recommend everybody getting one. Our third announcement is please save the date for our annual meditation retreat held at the St. Francis Springs Prayer and Meditation Center from 5 o'clock on Friday, May 31st through 3 o'clock Sunday, June 2nd. Registration for the retreat is now open and available with a $50 deposit to hold your space. The registration will be closing on Wednesday, May 1st. So please, if you're still considering or you're sitting on the fence, then give it some real thought. And I encourage you to say yes, because it is an amazing, amazing weekend. The all-inclusive cost for the weekend is $325 for a double room and $425 for a single room. Please consider joining us. You will be very happy that you did. So again, the final day for registration is Wednesday, May 3rd. We need to have all of the people's names into St. Francis Springs by the 3rd. So thank you all so very much for considering that. You will be so glad you did. Our last announcement is about actually it's not our last one, our second to last one is an upcoming new workshop series called Spiritual Journeying Through the Seasons. And in this series of 4-part standalone workshops, one inspired by each one of the seasons, you'll learn why spiritual journeying is such a powerful tool for connecting our daily human experience with the higher knowledge of your inner divinity while designing a journaling practice that fits you and your lifestyle. Now, the series begins on Sunday, April 28th, so next Sunday. It's called Blossom Within, a spring spiritual journaling workshop. The workshop will be held at 4 points following the service between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Each individual workshop costs $30, but if you really want to commit to your spiritual journaling, you can sign up for the entire Journaling Through the Seasons series for only $99. The future workshop dates will be on June 9th and September 8th and December 8th. The workshop will be facilitated by one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, Carol Cross, and you can reserve your spot by emailing info@trianglecsl.org. info@trianglecsl.org. And finally, our final announcement is regarding our annual Wise Woman's Tea, which will once again be held on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12th. The event is for women of all ages who would love to come together to share wisdom with each other. There will, of course, be some tea, small bites, fruit, cheese, and chocolate. Now, the event will be held at 4 Points by Sheridan from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. So there's plenty of time to go home and have a Mother's Day brunch with your family and then to return back to share your wisdom with others from the community. In the past, this has been an amazing event, and women represent decades from 80 all the way down to their teens. So please consider joining us for that. It's an amazing event. Thank you very much for Barbara Kane for her beautiful meditation, which expanded the container that our service will unfold within. So thank you very much, Babs. And now let's please welcome her back to the room.
Good morning, everybody. And thanks for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Jesse, for that beautiful song. And the theme for the year 2024 is a grand rising. Our theme for the month of April is giant gentleness. Reverend Dusty's message is taking it to the streets. And I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, Simply, we are here for God. And now I invite you to turn within, open your heart and mind, and allow the sounds of the crystal bowl to wash over you. I welcome you to bring your attention back into your bodies and into the room. And now, Carol Cross and Janelle Moore will be facilitating the blessings of all faiths.
The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of the Christ consciousness, of love and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, one's highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practices and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principles of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart and the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with absolutely no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths.
Thank you so much, Janelle and Carol. And now I ask you to join me in closing your outer eyes as I speak a blessing on the service. So this morning, I was able to really bathe in the glory and the beauty of the infinite spirit of love as I looked out into my garden and saw all the beauty of the flowers blooming and the magnificence of the green surrounding me, as I know that the love of God surrounds us all and infuses us with that feeling of intense love, intense gratitude, intense peace. And so I know that that's what this service is intended to bring us all. And I bless the service, and I bless our congregation, and I bless the volunteers with gratitude. Ava and Heather handling the AV, Jesse, our beautiful and wonderful musician who brings such a wonderful, uplifting energy to her gift of song, and Reverend Dusty, as she always brings us that inspiration, that growth of consciousness in the moment, and her beautiful self as a leader of our congregation. And I just bless every one of us with love and light, knowing that you are in the perfect spot today and getting exactly what your heart needs in this moment for you. And so it is. The reading for today is a story told by A. Helwa in her book, Secrets of Divine Love. She says, a traveler was wandering through a town when he came across a crippled beggar, then an old man being beaten, and then the funeral of a young child. He fell into a spell of pain, distraught from all that he had witnessed. He ran out of town into the vast silence of the desert at night and screamed to God, "Oh, why, God? Why is there so much pain? Why is there so much oppression, so much injustice? Why don't you do something?" The man laid on the desert floor crying, and then he heard a voice from within saying, "I did do something. I created you." Amen. And now I would like to introduce once again the amazing Jessie Powers.
Thank you. That's a very powerful reading. My goodness. Whew. And so I just invite everyone to take a nice deep breath with me. And just for the next few minutes, allow that feeling to fully sink into your body, that feeling of knowing that you were made by Spirit, Source, God, Love, perfectly and beautifully. There in the center of my soul, I can feel you all around me. Something holy and untold, but I hear it perfectly. Somehow in the sweetness of now, I can see I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. I was made in the image I was made in the image of love. Here and now, I can see I was made beautifully. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Beyond books and words and songs, at the gate of all my longing, leaving certainty behind. I take one step and you come running. It's clear, hey, in the deepness of here, I can see we were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. We were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. Here and now, I can see we were made beautifully. We were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. Love, love, flow like water. Love, love, move in me. Love, love, flow like water. Love, love, move in me. Oh, love, love, flow like water. Love, love, move in me. Oh, love, love, flow like water. Love, love, move in me. We were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Here and now, I can see I was made perfectly. We were made in the image. We were made in the image of love.
Woo! Beautiful, Jessie. Absolutely beautiful song. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, welcome to those of you who may have just joined us. As Bab said earlier, the theme for the month of April is giant gentleness. And throughout the month, we are diving into this idea that gentleness is actually a very powerful thing, and that giant gentleness opens us up to who we say we really want to be. Now, the first Sunday of the month, we really talked about embracing gentleness for ourselves. Last Sunday, we moved beyond judgment and embraced gentleness and active compassion for others in all of the relationships in our lives. And this Sunday, we breathe gentleness into our communities, our politics, and our activities. Now, I don't know about any of you out there, but how many people really, whose first thought when they heard the title of my talk, their first thought went to the Doobie Brothers song of the same name. Now, the song was written by their lead singer, Michael McDonald. And the song was written partly inspired by a college essay that his sister Maureen had written, hence the line that says, "Take this message to my brother." Now, the song is written from the perspective of someone that is growing up amid poverty and despair in the inner cities. And it's addressed, it's really meant for all of the people in the audience who really have absolutely no idea what it would be like to live there. MacDonald flushed out the lyrics after a conversation with Maureen in which they were talking about how society has allowed so many poor people to fall through the cracks. And the song popularized that term, taking it to the streets, which means to bring a message directly to the people, which I guess is kind of what I'm doing today. Now, we are probably living in one of the most divisive periods of time in human history, or at least it feels like that. So much of the world is changing around us. Collectively, we are facing something that none of us has ever faced before, and it's causing even the most conscious of us to experience bouts of fear and worry. We're inundated with all kinds of conflicting information, media bias, and polarized opinions, and it feels as though the ground that we are standing upon is made up entirely of sand. People who have children or older parents worry about keeping them safe. Those blessed with jobs are worried about losing them. People with mental health issues feel even more intensely challenged. People with health challenges struggle to make appointments within an acceptable period of time, and then struggle for how to pay for their care if they even receive any care at all. People that have worked very hard for a very long time to attain certain alienable rights are finding them now being taken away. People who self-medicate do it more and do it more often. Schools, businesses, charitable organizations, restaurants, and others are struggling just to keep their doors open. Every day we see on the news or read online about the harshness of the world, about the things that people can and very often do to one another. Recent events in the world have alerted us that many of the fear-based beliefs and behaviors that we thought should have been discarded years ago, decades ago perhaps, rather than being healed and released, have actually just been temporarily shoved down into our collective human consciousness. And surfacing now, they demand that we address them. And that not only do we address them, but we address them from a higher perspective, from a more expansive evolutionary view of all of the possibilities that are available. Now, to effectively do so, we have to set the intention within us to stay awake to the truth of who we are and our deep and abiding connection with everything and everyone on the planet, the foundation of which is oneness and love. Thank you, Jesse, for speaking about it, singing about it. Now, the good news is, right, that wasn't a lot of good news, but the good news is that fundamental to the science of mind teaching is oneness and love, which is also the essence of gentleness. So this week, we foster gentleness in two key areas of our lives in order to give some perspective and some breathing room to this whole conversation. Now, the first area that we're looking at is politics and social activism. Oh no, she just didn't say that. Politics and social activism. Now, my initial thought around this is that ministers and churches in America have struggled for decades, I mean decades, to determine how much political involvement they can or should engage in. There are legal questions, and there are theological questions, and there are even practical questions that come up, such as, will we lose regular attendees because we're too political? or because we're not political enough. Lee Moses, in an article called Do Politics Belong in Church, says preaching has gotten a lot tougher since the 2016 election, when even words like kindness seem to have political implications, and everyone has retreated to their corners, boxing gloves at the ready. It is complicated by the fact that politics has now come to mean any contemporary issue on which people might disagree. In times such as these, our task as ministers is to remind the congregation that the basic tenets of our faith is grace and mercy, radical hospitality, love of neighbor, and those all go beyond politics, but have political implications. Social justice is built on the pillars of human rights, equality, participation, and access. When a society is just, everyone is respected, accepted, supported, and protected. Achieving social justice isn't really that easy to do, because there are so many different issues that need to be addressed. For example, gender pay and racial income inequality, climate change, food insecurity, the refugee crisis, universal health care, poverty, gender-based and trans community violence, eroding democracy, political extremism, cyber security threats, reproductive rights, and racism, to name just a few. The underlying truth is that we in this country are very divided around most of these issues, and I think you will probably agree about that. So the question to ask ourselves is, what is the bigger challenge? The fact that we're divided, or the state of our division? For me, it's the state of our division, because the state of our division is one that is contentious, one that is filled with animosity. The state of our division separates friends and families across the country. The state of our division is one in which both sides are so entrenched in their side, in their own reality, that moments of compromising are increasingly harder and harder to find. The state of our division is one in which we pit ourselves one against the other, and where we believe that the only way to have peace and security in our world is to totally defeat our political opponents. The state of our division is one that is destructive to all of us, individually and collectively. Now, for me, the bottom line is that God is everywhere at all times. And as we said quite a number of times last week, everything and everyone is always sacred and always holy. So nothing can be purely political or purely sacred. They are going to bump up against each other time and time and time again. Now, there have been a few times over all these years that I've been here that I have occasionally felt called to talk about issues that some people might feel are connected, maybe even too connected to politics. However, I have never stood or used the pulpit to advocate for a particular candidate or a particular choice or a particular side. Mostly what I've tried to do is to remind us to endeavor to be a space of kindness, a space of love, respect, acceptance, and inclusivity. To remind us to lean into our spiritual practices and principles in a way that allows us to use them in our everyday lives. Perhaps now, as we are being called to really take a look at how we can expand our expression of the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, we might have to look at how we can continue to do those things that I have always done, and also to be able to take those things out into the street that need to be taken out into the street in order for us to continue to be relevant in our ever-changing world. Now, there are, at least in my mind, absolutely some important things in the world that deserve our attention, our time, and our love. When we are called to respond to whatever it is that is calling to us, we get a choice. We get to do it with compassion and with love. The invitation is to remember that what we resist persists, and fighting, even for a good cause, is resistance. So the invitation is for each of us, not just the ministers and the practitioners, but for all of us to use love as our guiding light in all of our interactions, to really be able to apply it liberally to every circumstance and every situation that we find ourselves within. And to know that the bottom line is that through the lens of love, we will be more open to knowing and to receiving and to experiencing more joy, more peace, more love than we ever have before. Instead of replacing judgment with judgment, hatred with more hatred, fighting with more fighting, dominion with more dominion, we need to imagine societies and communities and institutions in which everyone is welcome at the table. And that this table needs to be enlarged to put in as many leaves as we possibly can put into this table so that it is the widest table possible to allow for the widest range of people to be able to sit around it. Certainly we can look to people such as Gandhi or Jesus or Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela, who found a way to really be able to express their beliefs and their desires and the world's needs at the same time that they stood their ground for kindness and equality and basic human rights. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Politics are messy. Getting caught up in blame and hate does everyone a disservice. Gentleness really asks us to act rather than to react, to give space and breadth to our frustration and our fears, and to not let them rule us. I'm going to say that again, to give space and breadth to our fears and our frustrations, to not let them rule us. Gentleness allows love to support us as we navigate our lives. The second area is community. Now, as we all know and have probably experienced, community is not always easy, and yet for me, well worth the endeavor, well worth the experience. Community is so important to our wellness, so important to our innate, undeniable need for belonging. And outwardly, as Margaret Mead said, it is so important because we should never underestimate that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. As I thought about this idea, this area of community, I thought about a retreat center that I went to when I was in ministerial school for one of the retreats that we all went on. Now, the Sunrise Ranch Retreat and Conference Center is a conference and retreat center and actually a working ranch, which is holistically managed and staffed by a committed community of people in service to the transformation of the world. Don't you love that? A committed community of people in service to the transformation of the world. The philosophy of the Sunrise Ranch and their spiritual center is best expressed in their agreement to honor what they call universal being, and in all of its many forms. Universal being in all of its many forms. They see this as a context for living, and not only a context for living, but as one of the pivotal factors for the future of humanity. This idea of really honoring universal being, or what we would call God. Now, all of Sunrise Ranch is dedicated to being a teaching and demonstration site for that essential wisdom, the importance in our lives of the universal being. This is why they teach sustainable agriculture and sustainable food preparation. It's what's behind all of their workshops and their conferences and their concerts and their courses that they hold there. Most of all, they are devoted to the spirit of universal love that brought them together in the first place and that inspires them each and every single day. They steward the land, they honor their commitment to one another, and they value what they are collectively bringing to the world. They believe that universal being is best, is actually doing its best to really express fully through each and every single person. Not as a separate reality, but as the core reality of who they are. And when it does, then that person experiences and creates wholeness in their world. They bring healing to the land, they bring healing to other people, and they bring healing to the planet. Now, they believe that this is why Sunrise Ranch really flourishes. And they see themselves as part of the awakening of all beings around the world. They participate in through who they are and their philosophy and their context for living and how they live their everyday lives. They see themselves as part of the awakening of all beings around the world. You know anybody else who thinks that way? Now, this 123-acre farm has many different buildings on the property, including wonderful guest rooms, a pavilion which houses a state-of-the-art kitchen and dining room and meeting rooms, the Dome, which is the auditorium where they hold their Sunday services and other special events, and a place called the Attunement Sanctuary. And the Attunement Sanctuary is a place for meditation and, as the name implies, attunement. And lastly, there is a little chapel. Now, the little chapel is one of the reasons that I'm even telling you this story. The first pioneers of the Sunrise Ranch built the chapel. They built it themselves in the early 1950s. It stands at the highest point in Eden Valley this is in Colorado, and it represents the place of the Most High in every sentient being. I love that. It represents the place of the Most High in every sentient being. The really amazing thing about this chapel, however, is that the community only worked on building it when there was absolutely no dissension of any kind within the community, when no one was holding any other person of the community out of their heart, when only peace and harmony prevailed. Let me say that again. They only did work building on the chapel when there was absolutely no dissension in the community, when no one was holding anyone out of their heart, and when only peace and harmony prevailed. I love that. Now, the Sunrise community of today continues to feel responsible for that energetic vibration and for their individual and collective contribution to it. Their everyday spiritual practice includes a deep commitment to personal transformation so that they can become a living expression of universal love. This is where, as you can imagine, the rubber meets the road. Now, they understand that they transform when they express universal love in the face of whatever happens in the world, the external world around them, and whatever arises in their own thoughts and their own emotions. This is what they are individually and collectively taking out into the streets. A committed expression of the mental equivalent of a world that they themselves desire to live within. In my work teaching PNF all over the world, I found it very interesting. And this would happen really quite often. In fact, almost every class that I ever had, no matter where I was in the world, there could be one person, one lone person that could quite masterfully raise up the energy in the entire room, in the entire classroom. One person that could raise up the energy, and there could be one lone person that could very effectively bring the energy of the room down. Each of us is significant to the energy of a community and for who that community is being in the world. So the invitation is to recognize that we are 100% responsible for our contribution, not only to our own intimate relationships, but also to our community and to the world. The invitation is to really wake up every morning and ask ourselves, am I in a space and place within myself and within my community to be able to build today? If the answer is no, the invitation is to be gentle with ourselves, to be gentle with each other, and to be gentle with the community as a whole. If the answer is no, the invitation is to do the inner work to prepare our own consciousness in order to be that space and place. The invitation is to know that our outer experience cannot be solved by pointing fingers out there. Instead, we can choose to recognize that both our own emotions and the current events in our world as opportunities for healing at a deeper level. They are all opportunities for us to heal our own consciousness, to heal our own more intimate relationships, to heal our communities, to heal our planet. So the invitation is to first and foremost listen for and to our inner wisdom for clarity about that which is ours to bring out into the streets, and then to shine gentleness into every dark corner of the world. The question becomes, who are we willing to be and what are we willing to do individually and collectively in order to bring that kind of gentleness out into the streets? I firmly believe that this is the only kind of energy that will ever create a world that works for all. And so it is. And so it is. So I just invite everyone to please turn within, to close your outer eyes as I speak a word of prayer for each of us individually and collectively as the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. To know that that spirit, that most high place, that little chapel lives within us. It is the spark of the divine, the Christ consciousness, that inner wisdom, that divinity, that unconditional love that is at the core of each and every single one of us with absolutely no exceptions. It is who and what we are, created by God, out of God's stuff, in its image and likeness. We are the very presence of God itself. That we can never be separate from that core. It is always ready, willing, and able to support us, to guide us, to guard us, and to unconditionally love us. And it's from that place of unity that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, that we are here to not live alone up in some cave somewhere where it's easy to really hone in on our meditation, to be all that we were created to be, but really to be here in human form on the planet at this time with all that is going on, and to know, as the reading of today said, I did send something, I did do something, I sent you. Each and every single one of us is a divine ambassador of the presence of God, here to bring forward that unconditional love into each and every single one of our relationships, each and every single one of our communities, each and every single one of our circumstances, to honor who we are, to honor our needs, to honor our boundaries, to honor those things that are important to us, and to also take out into the streets that which needs to be taken out into the streets, to take a look at those things that are human rights, and to know that God has sent us for this time in this way, to be its love, to be its eyes, to be its ears, to be its hands, to shine a light, to shine that gentleness that we arrived on the planet with in all of the challenging places. And to know that that energy, that presence will lift up everyone, will lift up all circumstances, all issues, all challenges, by being willing to be curious, by being willing to open ourselves up to other people and other cultures and other races and other religions and other ideas, to not stand so firmly fixed in our own, but to open ourselves up to a new way of being on the planet, which I know will allow a new way for the world to be. And so I claim ease and grace for us around living that kind of life, about being that presence, about doing what we came here to do, being who we came here to be, stepping powerfully into our giant gentleness, and to watch as the world changes for the better. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and release them with love and gratitude and full expectation of their manifestation. Letting go and letting God be God, I invite all of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the greater Triangle area. Together, we affirm the truth that this offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give, and they're on your screen here now. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. You can text the word give using the following numbers: 919-629-9148, or you can mail a check to our office at PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. So I now invite everyone in the comfort of your own home to place your hand with your gift, or just with your hand with an affirmation for yourself or the community, and repeat our offering blessing together with me. Babs will represent all of you. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source.
I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you very much, Babs. Thank you, everyone. And now, please welcome back to the room the amazing Jessie Powers.
Thank you so much. Wow, what a great talk. It's very empowering, and it made me want to play this song. I was going to play it, and then I thought of another one, but I think this one's going to be great. So this one's just about doing that work, moving into the world every morning, getting up and just saying, today's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to be in alignment with my soul, with my spirit, with my source, and it's going to lead me to this right action and this amazing way of showing up in the world that if we all would just take to heart, amazing change could happen. So let's go. I wake up early to the morning sun. I don't know how it does it every day. It rises up and then it falls again. Born only to die away. Look in the mirror and I see myself. I don't know how I do it every day. Standing on this big blue rock, not knowing what I'm doing here. Still believing there's a reason, keep on keeping on my way. Each time I open my eyes, that's when I get to decide how I am gonna show up in this life. Everybody say, huh, huh. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Look at the clock, it's running day and night. Got no control in those hands. A little soldier just marching through time. I'm so glad I am not a clock, I am alive, and I can choose to dance each time I open my eyes. That's when I get to decide how I wanna show up in this life. Say, oh, oh, everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up. Sing it with me. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. One more time. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, get up, oh, get up, get up, and be grateful. Say, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up, and I'm thankful. Get up, oh, get up, oh, get up, and be grateful. Say, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up, and I am thankful. Get up, oh, get up, oh, get up, and be grateful. I'm up, I'm up, I'm up, and I'm so thankful. Get up, oh, get up, oh, get up, and be grateful. I'm up, and I'm ready to play. Yeah, everybody, get up, cause it's a beautiful day, you gentle giant. Let's go. Everybody get up, oh, cause it's a beautiful day. Yeah, everybody get up, oh, cause it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up, cause it's It's a beautiful day.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Thank you.
What a great song. I love it. I'm
Thanks.
going to remember that. I get up and have a beautiful day. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. At the top of the homepage, click More, then Prayer. Click the prayer request button and fill out the email, and we will get your prayer requests, send it to all the ministers and the practitioners, and we know that you will have an even more beautiful day. And also, if anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Now, in the comfort of your own home, please stand for our April affirmation. This is a call and response. Please repeat it with meaning. As of today, I affirm that I am building a culture of giant gentleness.
As of today, I affirm that I am building a culture of giant gentleness,
A culture where I am comfortable in my own skin.
a culture where I am comfortable in my own skin,
A culture where I am allowed to mess up without it being the end of the world.
a culture where I am allowed to mess up without it being the end of the world,
A culture where I love myself more often than not.
a culture where I love myself more often than not.
Here in this world, I get to be who I authentically am.
Here, in this world, I get to be who I authentically am.
I am called to share and shine this gentleness into every relationship and every arena I am in.
I am called to share and shine this gentleness into every relationship and every arena that I am in.
As I do so, I take awareness, compassion, gratitude, and love to new levels and greater heights.
As I do so, I take awareness, compassion, gratitude, and love to new levels and greater heights.
And so it is, and all is well.
And all is well, and so it is. So it is.
I flipped those. Sorry about that. I had Heather, my daughter, in my ear saying the affirmation behind me. I got a little flipped around, but yay. Okay. So please turn within while I do a benediction. I'm so thankful for this beautiful morning, this beautiful, energized, loving morning, knowing that that spirit of love and light and gentleness is in, as, and through me and you. That we have an opportunity all the time to express that love of each other, that gentleness of spirit, that kindness, that generosity. And so we take that forth into our day and into our community and into our families, and we just rain it on down over everybody. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. I thank all of our volunteers, Heather and Ava on AV, and Babs as a practitioner, and the amazing Jessie Powers for her music today. And I am just grateful and thankful for all of you that tuned in, all that you will watch later perhaps. Remember that next week we are back at 4 Points. Have an absolutely amazing week. I love you all. Take care.